questions, I'm going to give an overview on fire and EMS.
Can you just start with the staffing levels?
Yes, sir. So you've got two sides of this with the reorganization that took place. So we have expanded the wages and salaries within the 2024 budget. That's the amendment we're asking for. So there is, in the proposed amendment, a pretty substantial increase in physicals. Rosie has a number of candidates that he's looking to bring into the department. We have to send those folks off to occupational health, which is part of an onboarding process. So we have baseline medical data for them. So that's been included here. There is an expansion on the Social Security, Medicare, retirement, and the wages and salaries section also. So two basic things that are being impacted. When we went through the reorg, the previous chief had a salary of $109,000 a year plus associated wages and bennies. Part of the reorg process was to come forward with a reallocation of that money. Present chief Eric Rosina has been appointed by the Fire Commission. Don and I had a meeting with him behind the scenes based on conversation with Village Board, negotiated a salary with him. Don took that to Police and Fire Commission. Police and Fire Commission signed off on it. So we're looking to have a $12,000 a year stipend fire chief position within the fire side of the budget. So this is kind of big piece number one. Big piece number two is fire inspections. Eric has said, or our Chief Rosina has said, he's really interested in looking at contracting out the inspector role, getting input from folks within the department. They've said, look, there's really some value for us keeping it in-house. Gone back to Chief Rosina and just said, hey, why don't we just kind of tap out on making any changes here for the time being? Let's get some hourly wages allocated for us to continue to do fire inspections in-house. Then we can discuss any changes that we might make through the 2025 budgeting process or maybe the 2026 budgeting process. So we placed some additional funds to manage 200 hours of fire inspection time at $22 an hour. Okay, so that would be separate from any on-staff time for people that are already in the station. On the EMS side of the operation, I want to first talk about trends, and these are our runs. When I talked to my counterpart in the city of Burlington has got about a 15% drop in overall run volume. We're down about 15% overall year over year. So part of the budget amendments that we're looking at decrease the revenues that were projected. So let me get that pulled up. So when we were working on this in like the July-August timeframe of 2023, we looked out and said, hey, we should have roughly $361,000 of EMS 911 revenue coming in. We're not going to get close to that if the trend holds. So just so we don't have any surprises, I've looked at pulling that down to $300K. Chief Haithman told us that we would bring in $42,000 a year of interfacilities revenue as part of the budget process last year. These runs that you see here for $6,500 of income are based on runs completed under Chief Mueller or Chief Naring when he was interim. These are not runs that were completed during Chief Haithman's tenure. It's just holdover billing that we're now collecting the revenue off of. So we've done a pretty vast expansion of salaries, wages, and benefits within this budget proposal, most of that being for full-time positions. The village board adopted a health insurance contract. I'm not sure how far back, but it wasn't during my tenure. It was way before me. And that health insurance contract says if you have an employee that works over a 120-day average period, a consistent average of at least 30 hours a week, they qualify for health insurance. Michelle just had to do a wire transfer in an amount, I think it was $148,000 to cover folks who triggered benefits, but the board had not previously authorized those folks triggering benefits. So the unenviable position from a discussion standpoint I've had to have with our folks is, hey, either the board is going to have to terminate you because they can't afford the health insurance, or we're all going to have to work really hard, create some full-time positions, manage interfacilities appropriately, and those folks are sitting here tonight with you. They wanna work for you, they're hardworking, I'm looking for those of you that are doing that and nod your heads. Okay. They wanna go to work here, and they already are working here, so I think you should make them full-time employees, 3 out of the 4 that triggered benefits. And also pay for some continuing ed. I didn't see Quinn back here. Not here, okay. Quinn has expressed an interest in going to AEMT. Wolfie's expressed an interest in going for paramedic, and Handlin, when he's done having all the kids that he's having, would like to go back to paramedic also. So for this year, I put additional money in for training to cover some of that. For the finance committee, I read off a list of names of folks that I'm in class with right now. There is not some magical pool of paramedics and EMTs out there just waiting for a job. When I first started in this career field, you really had to get on a wait list and work hard to get on a department. It is exactly the other way around now. When I go to Gateway and look at the job board, it's covered, and some of the jobs are also covered because there's so many jobs available right now for this career field. So I think you just have to bite the bullet. You have to have a lot of full-timers to stabilize your system. What this budget proposal does is increase the total number of full-time positions, and it provides for a callback stipend of $80 per day for one person, essentially to carry phone/pager, if you will. And if we get a second call that comes in over the PM hours when Zeke or Rachel are not available to fill that second ambulance, then we can still get a second ambulance out. Questions for me?
Any questions? I just wanna thank our current department. Appreciate you guys.
Okay, so let's get you 3 people that are EMS department employees in the station 24/7, 365, with some gaps, because I'm sure there's gonna be some outages or vacations that overlaps. There might be some days you get 2 in the station just because of how things shake out, but almost all the time you'll be 3 deep. Sometimes you'll be 4 deep or 5 deep.
Any other questions? What do you need from us?
One, a really solid understanding that this is gonna be a 3-year process from here, and that's the conversation I've had with the staff. You've gotta restabilize the department. Everybody who spoke up tonight and said things have been destroyed, I think they're absolutely right. I completely disagree on the why. And I think the board is aware of some of those items on the why. We needed to bring in $360,000 a year in facilities revenue, just like we did under Chief Mueller and Assistant Chief Neri when he took on the interim chief role, and the previous chief did not achieve those revenue numbers. We know we have done in the past, we know we can go back and do it. We need to do it in a way that's prudent, and that looks at the bottom line. In the ordinance you all adopted as part of the reorganization, you stated in there that you wanted to go after critical care interfacilities transports. That was Chief Mueller's stated goal. He wrote it in the job position opening that brought Chief Hateman to us. It was very transparent that that was the direction we were going in, and being in a rural community where our big trauma centers and big cardiac centers are, how far, Andrew? 30, 45 minutes depending on traffic?
24 hours.
Well, yeah, well, Andrew's drive. So, I think this is the move that you need to make. However, you've gotta keep your finger on the pulse of it, because it's a $335,000 budget deficit, essentially. You do have interest income to cover a significant portion of this while you make the transition. Again, I expect it'll take us 3 years. Raise your hand if you're on board. Okay. Appreciate all of you.
Thank you.
Okay. What do you need from me?
All I need is a motion for a second.
This was approved in finance, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
And a roll call vote.
A motion and a second. Any more questions, comments?
You need a roll call vote?
Yes.
Alright. Nash,
Aye.
Goldhammer,
Aye.
Holnow,
Aye.
Houston,
Aye.
McReynolds,
Aye.
Jaskey,
Aye.
Ewert.
Aye. Okay, motion passes. We're moving on. Consider a motion to convene into executive session pursuant of Wisconsin State Statutes, section 1985, considering financial, medical, social, and personnel histories or disciplinary data on specific persons, preliminary consideration of specific personnel problems, or the investigation of charges against specific persons where whichever applies. And discussion in public will be likely to have a substantial adverse effect on the reputation of any person referred to in such histories or data, or involved in such problems or investigations. Need a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? All right.